السلام عليكم ورحمة الله. بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. الحمد لله والصلاة والسلام على رسول الله وعلى آله وصحبه أجمعين. اللهم اجعلنا من أهل القرآن الذين هم أهلك وخاصتك. May Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala make us all companions of the Quran. May Allah allow the light of the Quran to enlighten our lives and the lives of others. And may Allah allow us to really become consistent students of and companions and teachers of the Quran. Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam tells us, خيركم من تعلم القرآن وعلمه. The best among you are those who learn the Quran and they teach it. There's no more concise hadith. There's no hadith that's more concise than this one. So in a sense, whatever we do in life, I know we're now currently teaching the Muslim Activism Boot Camp, and we're trying to really empower, educate, inspire activists. How can you make a difference in the world? Whatever you do in life, the Quran should be there. There should be a component of the Quran in your activism, in your career, in your family, in your professional development. The Quran has to be a part of your life, inshallah ta'ala. Today, bi'idhnillah, so recently we had a discussion here in Michigan with a group of young men and women, and we had a beautiful discussion about the questions, asking the Quran for questions, basically. Asking Allah for clarification in a general sense. We have this idea sometimes that people assume that as a slave of Allah, as a servant of Allah, you are not meant to question Allah at all. And part of that is true. Because as a slave, as a servant of Allah, you are meant to submit, you're meant to accept. We are meant to, khalas, inna lillah wa inna ilayhi raji'un, to Allah we belong and to Him we shall return. If, la samahallah, I go through a difficulty, I lose my car in an accident, I lose my job, I lose a child, I lose my parents, I lose a loved ones, we have to remember that, hey, this child of mine is not mine. It's from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, and He gave me this child. It's only an amana with me. So I don't question Allah. Why did you do this to me? Because it's all property of Allah at the end of the day. I am owned by Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. And the ayah that teaches us that we should not be questioning Allah, very clear ayah in the Quran, لا يسأل عما يفعل وهم يسألون. Allah is not to be questioned about what He does, but we are to be questioned. There's a famous story about Sayyidina Isa alayhi salam. So it's not an authentic narration. It's mentioned in the books of Tazkiyah and Tasawwuf, where a shaitan, Iblis, one time saw Isa, and he told him, Ya Isa, ya Ruh Allah, O Isa, O Spirit of Allah. You guys, believers, say and assume that nothing happens to you except if Allah decrees it to happen. So Shaitan told Isa, Sayyidina Isa, why don't you go and throw yourself on top of a mountain and see if you die or not? This idea of experimenting with Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. And Isa pushed back and told him, Ya mal'oon, inna lil rabbi an yakhtabira abda, wa laysa lil abdi an yakhtabira rabbah. O you who is cursed, the master gets to test his servants. The servants do not get to test their master. Allahu Akbar. Done deal. What a powerful statement, that we are the ones to submit to Allah, and Allah asks us, we don't ask Him. However, there is a small nuance here, is that we have ayat in the Quran, and I would like you to open Quran Reflect and check the post that I shared. This time we shared the post before the session, right? Okay, so this is where I'm just mentioning the discussion that we had recently here in Michigan. So the idea of prompting the Quran with questions, this is kind of the question. This is the idea of questioning Allah, asking Allah and His book. Can you ask Allah for wisdom, for clarification, for insights, for clarification, for more details? So first of all, let's start clear. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, and here's the ayah, in Surah Al-Anbiya, ayah 23, لا يسأل عما يفعل وهم يسألون. Allah is not to be questioned. We are the ones to be questioned. However, we have examples about righteous servants of Allah who did question Allah, and one of them is Ibrahim. And this is where I want to prompt you guys to go and search in the Quran. What are some examples where Allah was questioned by some righteous servants and it was not frowned upon? One of them is Ibrahim alayhi salam وإذ قال إبراهيم رب أرني كيف تحيي الموتى. Allah, show me how you give life to the dead. قال أولم تؤمن. Allah said, did you not believe? And Ibrahim said, بلى ولكن يطمئن قلبي. Yes, but I want my heart to be reassured. So Allah told Ibrahim, فخذ أربعة من الطير فصرهن إليك. Ibrahim asked, by the way, he did not ask, Ya Allah, do you bring the dead back to life? Like, is it a yes or no? Can you do it? Can you not do it? أعوذ بالله, Ibrahim will never do that. Ibrahim asked, show me how you bring the dead back to life. He asked about the how, not about the what. Allah told him, hey, demonstrated to him. He took 4 birds, he cut them into pieces, put everyone on a mountain, and then he called upon them, and they all came to Prophet Ibrahim. And Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam comments on this ayah, and he says, نحن أحق بالشك من إبراهيم. We deserve to have doubt more than Ibrahim. Subhanallah. Meaning that it is natural for believers to have doubt, but the question is how you ask the question. So it's very important how you ask the question, how you ask Allah. Are you asking from a position of doubt, from a position of challenging, from a position of questioning, or are you asking to learn? And that's why here, so the question does not negate the fact that we could maintain our state of ubudiyya lillah, being servants of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, and still ask questions. And I think this is the wisdom that I want us to come up out of this. Search and open the Quran and try to learn and assess and invigorate your life from this ocean of gems and wisdom and inspiration and instruction. Subhanallah. So that's the first ayah that came to mind. By the way, this ayah is very different from another ayah that I would like to share. So let me open another tab, QuranReflect.com. There is another question that was asked to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, but that was an inappropriate question. هل يستطيع ربك? Okay, I love Quran Reflect. The indexing is super easy. إذ قال الحواريون. So the disciples, the companions of Prophet Isa alayhi salam, when they asked Prophet Isa, إذ قال الحواريون يا عيسى ابن مريم, O Isa, Jesus, son of Mary, هل يستطيع ربك أن ينزل علينا مائدة من السماء? Is your Lord available? Is he capable of sending down for us a table spread from the heavens? Astaghfirullah. Of course he can. قال اتقوا الله إن كنتم مؤمنين. Fear Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Be mindful of Allah if you are believers. So you see that the wording is very different here. Can he do it? Of course he can. Ibrahim did not ask, Ya Allah, can you do it? He asked, show me how you do it. Subhanallah. Another example that was brought up in the session, and that's what I love about these Quran reflection sessions. I'm not only teaching, I'm listening. Nuh alayhi salam, after his son drowned in the flood, Nuh alayhi salam got a promise from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala before the flood that he will save all of his family. But Allah told him, his family except the ones who were determined to be disbelievers. And Nuh maybe did not understand what that is. So when his son drowned, Nuh was traumatized. Like, he lost his son. Not only he lost him in the dunya, he's also a kafir. So he did not get to guide or instill the guidance for his son. So Nuh was traumatized, and Nuh made dua to Allah. Look at the adab that Nuh had. Look at the understanding that he is asking, but also he is maintaining his position of ubudiyya. He is not transgressing. He is not going above that position. ونادى نوح ربه فقال رب إن ابني من أهلي. Ya Allah, my son is part of my family. وَإِنَّ وَعْدَكَ الْحَقُّ. And you promised me. And your promise is nothing but the ultimate truth. وَأَنْتَ أَحْكَمُ الْحَاكِمِينَ. And you are the most just of all judges. So notice he didn't ask. He's like, Allah, you told me this. What happened? Again, the wording is really the position of ubudiyya. We really have to understand a abd can learn about the affairs of his masters so long as he understands or she understands their position. Here was the question. I didn't add the question here. قال إنه ليس من أهلك إنه عمل غير صالح. There you go. قال يا نوح. So the continuation of that ayah, Allah told and replied, يا نوح, أي Nuh, he is not from your family. إنه ليس من أهلك. He is certainly not from your family. إنه عمل غير صالح. He was entirely of unrighteous conduct. Or, in another translation, he by himself is not a good deed. Meaning that, you know how kids could be a good deed for their parents? Like there will be a sadaqah jariyah. Some kids are not among our portfolio of good deeds. And these parents have to come to this realization. It's a hard realization. It was a hard pill for Nuh to swallow, subhanallah. I just recently attended a funeral of a of a young guy, 25 years old, who died in the community, and subhanallah, his dad was burying him, and this specific child had a lot of trouble in his life. Did not give his parents an easy life at all, subhanallah, without going into details. And parents sometimes have to accept that after you do your best, you invest, you teach, you work on yourself so that you're a good role model for others. You've gone above and beyond. At the end of the day, Nuh could not guide his son. Difficult, very difficult experience, very difficult ayah for me even to read. SubhanAllah, may Allah guide our children, may Allah guide our families, may Allah allow us to always be guided, and may Allah not test us. رَبَّنَا لَا تُحَمِّلْنَا مَا لَا طَاقَةَ لَنَا بِهِ. Ya Allah, do not test us with burdens that we are not capable of handling, subhanAllah. Each one of us here, each one has a test. Each one has their challenges. Nuh's test, was tested with prophethood, with da'wah, with rejection. But also one of his tests was having an unrighteous child who is عمل غير صالح. But back to the concept of questions. Nuh alayhi salam, he asked Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala in a most, decent, honorable way. Hey, رب إن ابني من أهلي وأنا وعدك الحق. Allah told him, hey, he's not part of your family. So, building on this theme, we need to always be cognizant of the idea that a believer may have moments where they want to explore more about their faith, and if they have some questions, some what they call existential questions, in general, you will find the answers in the Quran if you ask the right way, if you ask with an intention to learn, if you ask with a sincerity, not you ask to change what Allah has ordained. Sometimes, again, as a slave of Allah, maybe the answer we may not like the answer. But who said that I have to like the answer? Who said that I am the one who to judge? Me in 2024, in living in this current lifestyle, current climate, who said that I am the one to judge on Allah's timeless wisdom? See, some people, they are claiming, oh, I'm just asking to learn. No, they're asking to change the conclusion. They're asking to challenge, subhanAllah. I should add to this ayat the question of the angels. Even angels ask. A beautiful book by Dr. Jeffrey Lang. It's a very good book by Dr. Jeffrey Lang that he mentions, and he argues that, hey, even angels ask. And angels, he is referring to the ayah, وَإِذْ قَالَ رَبُّكَ لِلْمَلَائِكَةِ إِنِّي جَاعِلٌ فِي الْأَرْضِ خَلِيفَةً. When your Lord told the angels that I'm placing a trustworthy, a caretaker, a vicegerent on earth. By the way, you can always search Quran Reflect in English. So let me demonstrate. Angels. Let's say you're doing English. Angels. Your Lord told the angels. Let's say I told the angels. I'm not sure if you're able to. So maybe you have to memorize it. The ayah. Blood. Oh, so it doesn't search. So let's say something about the angels, and that's in Surah Al-Baqarah. Okay. I'm not sure if you are able. Caretaker, vicegerent. Okay, forget about it. Search is not that good in English. Khalifa. So this is the ayah. وَإِذْ قَالَ رَبُّكَ لِلْمَلَائِكَةِ إِنِّي جَاعِلٌ فِي الْأَرْضِ خَلِيفَةً. So Dr. Jeffrey Lang in this whole book, he's referring to the fact that even angels ask, even the most holy of creations of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, they did ask questions when your Lord told the angels, I am placing a human successor or authority or vicegerent on earth. And the angels said, قالوا أتجعل فيها من يفسد فيها. Why would you place somebody who's spreading corruption ويسفك الدماء, and they will shed the blood. وَنَحْنُ نُسَبِّحُ بِحَمْدِكَ وَنُقَدِّسُ لَكَ. And we celebrate your praises, Ya Allah, and we proclaim your holiness. And Allah said, إِنِّي أَعْلَمُ مَا لَا تَعْلَمُونَ. I know that which you do not know. So angels asked Allah, they were curious to learn, but also the idea here is that this does not depreciate their value. Still Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala told them, hey, ألم أقل لكم إني أعلم غيب السماوات والأرض. Did I not tell you such and such? So Allah put them in their place in an intellectual sense, right? Look at the ayat later. They told Allah, سبحانك لا علم لنا إلا ما علمتنا إنك أنت العليم الحكيم. Ya Allah, glory to you. We have no knowledge except the knowledge that you have given to us. You are truly the all-knowing, all-wise. So they confirmed their slavery, servitude to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. And that's the important part. And subhanAllah, the more we have this attitude, the crazy part, if you are rebellious against Allah, Allah will not teach you. You might end up getting stuck in a loophole of vicious ideas, thoughts, but it's not ilm. However, if you are truly a sincere student of knowledge, Allah will teach you. وَاتَّقُوا اللَّهَ وَيُعَلِّمُكُمُ اللَّهُ. And be conscious about Allah, and Allah will teach you. So I hope that this makes sense. I hope that this will give us the right mindset so that we keep asking ourselves, okay, what kind of questions I'm asking in my life in general to other people or to books or to ChatGPT or to Google or what have you. What kind of questions I'm asking in general, what questions I have to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala if I meet him, or to his book, because we have the access to his book. How can I ask better questions? How can I ask smarter questions? You know, some of you know that I already started life coaching. So I am being coached by a coach, and I'm also offering life coaching services. And one of the things that my life coach always asks us every single week is, what is your $10,000 question? If you are paying $10,000 for this class, for this session, for this program, what would you ask? How do you ask it? How do you take notes? How do you upgrade your awareness so that you are focusing more? So it's again, and so every week we have to come up with a $10,000 question so that we are bringing our attention to a different level. And let's forget about the money. What is the $10,000 question or 10,000 barakah questions that we have to Allah every time we sit and learn and read his book? I hope that this makes sense, inshallah ta'ala, and will upgrade our experience with the Quran to become better listeners, better students بإذن الله. وجزاكم الله خير والله يبارك فيكم يا رب. inshallah ta'ala, we might miss next week. I will let you know inshallah if we are doing it or not, but because I will be traveling. But inshallah ta'ala, we'll try to get a better time for our session بإذن الله. وجزاكم الله خيرا. يلا يا جماعة، السلام عليكم ورحمة الله.